All right, back to the spotlight. We got Xavier Nelson, kid at Canevin. I got the chance to train him over the summer, and when I noticed just little subtle things about him. When he was around training, he's a worker. He came to the 210th camp. He came up big, some plays, got some picks, and then when I started watching some of his huddle, he kind of reminds me of a guy, Vaughn Rivers. Explosive, a smaller stature guy, got that chip on his shoulder. What you think, Sean?
Definitely. This kid is super explosive, and he got a little nasty to him too.
Right.
He'll play in that tackle game.
Right.
He'll come up. He's not afraid to come up in the tackle game. But I think with Xavier, when you start looking at him as far as his recruiting, we got to start thinking a little bit outside of the box because of the measurables.
Right.
Now, one of the positions that I'm a stone cold believer in is that there's another position in the secondary that is just as equally as important in corners and safeties, and that's the slot guy.
Right.
When I envision Xavier as a slot corner, and he's nasty enough to come off the corner and blitz.
Right.
And he's not afraid to come up and tackle too.
Right.
So it almost reminds me of a Mike Hilton.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when you go back and you look at the table of Mike Hilton actually played safety in college, which hurt him in his going to the NFL because he's too small for safety.
Right.
But Xavier, you put Xavier in the slot, you're gonna have a problem.
Right.
He can shut some people down. He can play the man-to-man with the proper technique.
Right.
He can feel. He can blitz. I think that would be, some people got to really go outside of the box and get beyond the measurables and see what the skill set of this kid.
Right.
Because he got a nice skill set that can play at the college level.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a big thing for him in his game is the ability to be able to contribute in special teams. Seeing him, return kicks and stuff like that. Like, he's a big play guy.
Right.
And it's just something that you can't. You got to account for as an opposing coach, but then when you got a guy like that on your team, it changes the dynamic. That changes field position. It makes him just that much more valuable on top of his ability to go and actually help out defensively, being able to, especially like today's game, to be able to shut down the slot, that's huge.
Right.
But then, like you talk about his attitude, that stuff is infectious, he's like a little pit bull out there, you know what I mean? And
right.
If he rubs off on the other guys, it helps change the mentality of your team, that's how, in a way of making guys around you better, what makes him a great kid to have around.
Return this.
Now they kicked it to him. I had no idea. Now watch this Gary hits.
Yeah.
See it?
Yeah, that's where
Look at this.
That's what remind me of Vaughn at.
Look at that. Then he look. Then he just stretched it. This. He has something different.
Right.
And again, even with his size, he doesn't mind going out and compete at the wide receiver spot.
Right.
We'll stop and go right there.
Yeah.
Just put the brakes on, accelerate it again, man. Show that explosiveness, that quickness.
Now watch him on kickoff. First guy down there. Look, doesn't matter.
Fight off the block.
See, fight off the block. You know what I mean? Take the hit.
Right.
He, again, you can look at his measurables. You can say his measurables. Now they're using the Champ Bailey. See the closing speed on that?
Right.
He's using the Champ Bailey technique. He's scooting, trying to get something off of it. Now you would think, like a lot of teams would try to go after him on fade routes. See, look at that. He wants to fight.
Yeah.
He ain't going back down.
Right.
And he don't know. That's the thing. He don't play his size.
Right.
So you don't. He's not playing 5'2", 5'3". Athletic. He does all the punting for them.
Yeah. He's an athlete.
Now look where he's at.
He making a tackle. He hustling.
Yeah, I mean, again, just imagine him in the slot.
Right.
with that nastiness, again with the Champ Bailey. Now he'll open up. Look at that. Fumble.
Mm-hmm.
Always around the ball. See, now you'll see him here. See how he can stay up on top of it. Now watch. Now this is huge because you notice how he was up top and then he gave himself enough room so he can run to jump up.
Right.
Which makes him, instead of him getting jumped over, he can run, he has enough room to come back up so that he can jump on the ball. I see him as a slot corner.
Yeah, I can see him too.
And like you said, Coach, you know, give him the opportunity to, you know, get on special teams, run back some punts and some kicks. You know, he can make a college team an instant, you know, better, you know, with his presence, you know, about what he can do. It's just, like with him, have to really work on, you know, where we would go. We would have to really make some stone cold business decisions. Make sure that they plan the package that's
suitable to him. And plus, with him running back kicks, that wasn't just the only one. He's done it a couple times, so yeah, which is gonna help him out. And he's only a sophomore.
Only a sophomore, and that's the thing. He's
yeah.
only a sophomore, and he's going to put on some muscle.
Right.
You know, we might get a couple more inches.
And he got a chance to grow as well.
We might get a couple more inches out of him. So I really want to see, you know, what could happen with him.
Right.
You know, especially like next year in that 2023.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to be a kid that's going to be a person that you won't want to come see.
Right.
You know, play every
yeah,
week.
no doubt.
You can't deny, you know, his skill set. You can't just deny it, but I think someone's going to have to look beyond the measurables with him. You know, I played with a couple guys that was small in stature, but they could play.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it just depends. I've seen some guys on some FCS schools that are small in stature that you just got to look beyond that.
Right.
And it's going to take a recruiter that can do it. Can he play at the next level? Definitely.
Yeah.
Could he dominate
Right.
at like a MAC level or even at a smaller FCS? Absolutely, I think so.
Well, I trained Avante Maddox a couple times, and the biggest thing with them dudes, like Avante Maddox being a littler guy, his feet. Feet, and they got that explosiveness. And remember, Avante Maddox ran a 4.4, so you figure a kid like him, even though he's small in stature, once he gets trained and stuff like that, you see him running now. So by the time he's probably gonna hit a 4.4 and no 4.5 type kid. So as long as he's making plays and he show that he can run, and with his change of direction, BCS schools could come in on him. Yep.
I mean, you just got to answer one question. You know, can he help a team win football games?
Right.
You know, can he be a game changer?
Right.
You know, is he a winner?
Right.
You know what I mean? You see what these guys are doing at Bishop Canevin.
Right.
You know, these guys are, you know, having a pretty decent season,
Right.
you know, from what they've been years past,
Right.
you know, and he's like one of the leading catalysts for that.
Right.
You know, so if he's going to turn his high school program into a winner, if he's going to keep making plays,
Right.
you know, and actually big, you know, splash plays,
Right.
you know, there's no doubt that, you know, he's going to get a shot because even though he may not have the measurables, if a guy don't got the measurables, but you check off every other box, then it's like, you know, it opens up eyes and, you know, we got to get this guy a shot.
Right.
Because what he don't have, you know, he got something else, and he definitely has that explosion. And I think with him, you know, what I would love to see more of him coming down to 2 temps, getting that speed work, and getting that notice. Then you get to measure him up against some of them other top talent that comes down there.
And
You know
then
what I mean? Then you get a real see. But me watching this kid, he's going. He would love the opportunity just to compete. You know, he's not going back down.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he don't read press clippings.
Right.
You know, it don't matter. You know, 5-star guy,
Right.
he gonna line up against him and want to compete.
Right.
And that's what I love about this kid.
Right.